We have a quorum. Item 3 on our agenda is for the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Reverend King will lead us in the invocation, and Dr. Albrecht will lead us in the pledge. If you can, please stand.
Father God, we thank you so much for Jesus. We thank you for a city that we can enjoy and take care of the business of the city. We ask for wisdom, Lord, that we don't overlook no one, but we'll move forward in a positive way. And we want to thank you for all our citizens in the night. But you bless us now, Father, as we go forth in your plan. We give you the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Item 4 on our agenda this evening is recognitions and presentations. 4A is the recognition of Mr. Thaddeus Driscoll, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. In the world today, when law enforcement officers get involved in situations, we see a lot of people with video cameras recording what we do, but not necessarily intervening to help sometimes. On the 17th of October, Lieutenant David Hill was on his way home after a midnight shift and stopped at the convenience store there at 285 Perry Parkway. And he observed what appeared to be a person passed out. He called an on-duty officer to arrive or to come to the scene. And upon their arrival, they were able to arouse him, maybe the best word to describe it. And while investigating his abilities and being under the influence, an altercation ensued between the officers and this gentleman. Mr. Driscoll was on his way to the airport, going to stop and get whatever at the store, and without hesitation, watched as other people were watching the fight. He engaged and said, "Can I help you?" and helped them control this gentleman, and so they could take him into custody and transport him to the House County Detention Center. These officers went out of their way to make sure they made his contact information, even though he said, "I need to get to the airport." They wanted to make sure he was recognized, and I do as well. Mr. Driscoll is also a firefighter with the House County, and he says, we're here together to serve. He told me that when we talked on the phone, and he said, Perry's always willing to help the county in any situation fire-wise, and he wanted to return the favor, and he was proud to do so. So tonight, I'd like to present Mr. Driscoll a couple things, a certificate of appreciation and a challenge form from the Perry Police Department. And we'd like to just publicly recognize him for being willing to serve. Good.
I appreciate Perry Fire, Perry Police Department helping the Houston County Fire Department. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much. Very few people will do that this day and time, so we really appreciate you taking the time to help our officers. Item 4B is our CDBG and CHIP award presentation to the council, Ms. Ford. Looks like big checks there.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, we were recently awarded a 2022 CDBG and CHIP grant to the city of Perry, totaling over $1 million. So that's big for us to have again this year. And just wanted to kind of highlight some of the work we've done with this program. Since 2016, we've been getting these grants. And included in the total number of grants and the city's match, we put over $5 million into our neighborhoods. So we're happy to continue this work with this money. So.
council, would you like to make those presentations? If the council would like to have their photograph made with that receiving that would be great.
Sure.
That means you can get up and walk around there. Got the door right here. We'll turn this up. Thank you.
Ms. Wood, thank you and community development for all the hard work on that. It's, I know Reverend King and myself have been involved in that program for a number of years, and to receive over $5 million in monies that go directly to improving the quality of life of people here in Perry is very, very important. So thank you for all that you guys are doing in that arena. Item 4C is the introduction of firefighter Griffin Coughlin. Chief Parker.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor and Council. It is my honor tonight to introduce to you Griffin Coughlin. Griffin, he grew up in the Perry area and graduated from Westfield High School in 2014. We did a detail over at the Presbyterian Church the other day, the day school, and the director over there remembered him from when he was just a toddler running around over there. So it's great to have somebody homegrown come back and serve the citizens of Perry. But prior to being hired by the city of Perry, Griffin worked for the Warner Robins Fire Department for the last 2 years. His family includes his parents and one younger brother, and next year he is marrying his fiancee Molly. When he's not at work, he enjoys spending time at the gym and outdoors, and I'd just like you all to welcome Griffin Coughlin.
We're delighted to have you. Glad you chose the best department in the Southeast. Thank you a lot. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 4D is introduction of Jenny Birdshaw, and she's our new Senior Personnel Manager. Mr. White, I understand.
Yes, Mayor and Council, before I have the opportunity to introduce you to our newest personnel manager, I wanted to first shine a spotlight on the career of one of the most extraordinary public service that you're all familiar with, that being Ms. Karen Lysinski. So as you know, she's served the city admirably for 28 years, and as she prepares for retirement, I simply wanted to take an opportunity to congratulate her on that opportunity and to thank her for the service that she's provided to the city over those 28 years, 26 of them by herself. So outstanding work on her part. With big shoes to fill, we've got Ms. Jenny Birdshaw, and she came to us by providence, and by that I mean she wandered in off the street today looking for the county library and said, "Hey, do you want a job?" Jenny comes to us from Mitsubishi, where she was the senior HR business partner. She couples her extensive private sector work with equally extensive public sector work, including the big county government. So she's a certified senior HR professional, I'm sure. Outstanding experience. We're really pleased to have her, and she'll do great things for the city over time.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the opportunity. I live in Perry. I've been here for 20 plus years, so I'm excited about joining and being able to serve in my community. So nice to get to know all of you, and I will see you around. Thank you for that.
Delighted to have you on our staff. Item 4E is a special events application. 4E1 is Clover Wine Merchant holiday event on Saturday, December the 10th, 2022, from 5 to 10. Ms. Tomlin, do you want to come forward and tell us what you'd like to request?
Thank you for having me today, Council. I appreciate it. Lynette Tomlin with Clover Wine Merchant. On December 10th, we are hosting Clover Wine Merchant's Christmas party, which is an indoor event. Being that this is a white tie and evening gown attire, I thought it would be nice if our attendees were able to take a lovely photo before they came into the building and had a glass of wine or started to eat food, being that they spent so much time and effort on their attire. So there'll be about 35 guests. One photographer, each one will take a photo before they come in. Once we start the party, the photo booth will no longer be occupied, but we won't have time to take it down because we will be engaging in into the evening's events. So it's not like we're going to have 35 people hanging out outside. They're just going to simply take their photo. Once they're done, the photographer and our guests will come in.
And you're looking for two
parking spaces in front of the shop.
With just cones marking that off with, I assume, a tent, like you did last time.
I would assume a tent, but a photographer said I may not
Okay.
be able to use a tent because the lights may be too high,
Right.
because it will be lit. But I'm not a photographer, so
So you're looking for just two spaces in Congo, okay?
yes.
Council members are just looking for utilizing of those two spaces in that evening. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this as outlined.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show that it was approved unanimously. Look forward to that event.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Item 5 are citizens with input. If there's anyone here this evening that would like to address mayor and council at this time. Thank you. Item 6 is a public hearing. This evening we had a public hearing scheduled to hear a special exception. Mr. Wood, I think we're going to put that on hold until our next meeting.
Yes, this will be, this is the special exception for the Cross Point Church on Highway 127. This will be postponed until the December 6th meeting in order to properly advertise the public hearing.
Okay. And that also includes item 6A, which is application itself.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Questions, council members? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Item 7 is review of the minutes. 7A are council. For your consideration, you have been provided the minutes of the October the 17th, 2022 work session, October the 18th, 2022 pre-council meeting, and October the 18th, 2022 council meeting. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve these minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Second. Is there any additions, changes, or deletions that you would make to these minutes at this time? Hearing none at this time, all in favor of accepting the minutes, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show that minutes were approved unanimously. Item 8 is unfinished business. 8A are ordinances for the second reading and adoption. 8A1 is the second reading of an ordinance for the rezoning of property from R-1 single-family residential district to PUD planned unit development. The property is located at 2123 Kings Chapel Road. Tax map number is 0P048004700. Mr. Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, this property is requested a zoning change to PUD. The intent here is to be able to utilize infrastructure that was already part of the property based on a prior subdivision approval and was later abandoned. The planning commission, the planning staff, following the planning commission, Commission, the applicant revised the site plan to address concerns that staff had. And we believe that they have done all that they can to utilize the property in an appropriate fashion while still being able to utilize the utilities that are in the ground. And so the staff revised its recommendation to approval with the following 3 conditions. 1, the preliminary subdivision plan for Evening Shade Subdivision Section 2, prepared by Advanced Engineering Services, LLC, as revised on 9/23/2022, shall be the approved PUD plan. That's the plan that you see on the screen here. Number 2, the PUD standards revised on 9/23/2022 shall apply to the property. And number 3, all water infrastructure in the PUD shall comply with current City of Perry standards and specifications. The Planning Commission did concur with the staff's revised modification.
Questions, council members, relative to this rezoning request? Thank you, Mr. Wood. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to address mayor and council relative to this rezoning request? Yes, sir. If you'd come forward and give us your name and address, I would appreciate it.
Good evening, Brian Rowan, with Advanced Engineering Services at 110 Thomas Stallmaker Drive, Warner Robins, Georgia. I'm just here to represent the applicant, I'm the civil engineer. Here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address mayor and council at this time? Thank you. Council members, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this rezoning request as outlined. Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Please let the record show that this request was approved unanimously. 8A2 is a second reading. 8A2 is the second reading of an ordinance to amend the city code relative to feral animals. Ms. Newton.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, for your consideration for adoption is the code amendment to define a feral animal as an animal that does not have an updated or working microchip, an identification tattoo, or an ear clip. If an animal is brought in and they meet this definition, they would be allowed to be taken for immediate, treatment and determination by a veterinarian if euthanization is recommended based on their health status when they present, and it would exempt them from the regular holding pattern.
Questions, council members, relative to this policy? Is there anyone here that would like to address mayor and council relative to this ordinance this evening? Thank you. Council, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve this ordinance as amended. Second. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Please let the record show that this amended ordinance was approved unanimously. Thank you, council. Item 9 is any other old unfinished business. 9A is any unfinished business of the mayor. I have none. Is there unfinished business of the council members? Ms. Bynum Grace. Dr. Alford, that's Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Hunt, Ms. Peterson, Mr. Jones. Thank you. Is there any unfinished business with our city attorney, Ms. Newby?
No, sir.
Is there any unfinished business with our city manager, Mr. Gilmore?
I have none.
Thank you. Any unfinished business with our assistant city manager, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Number 10, item 10 on the agenda is our community partners. Are there any community partners here that would like to address mayor and council this evening? Thank you. Item 11 is new business. 11A are matters referred from the November the 1st, 2022 pre-council meeting. Mr. Gilmore, I don't think there was anything carried forward from that meeting.
That is correct.
Thank you. Item 11B on the agenda is a special exception application that will be postponed to our December 1st meeting in December, as outlined by Mr. 11C are ordinances of the first reading and introduction. 11C1 is an amended first reading. This is an amended first reading of an ordinance to rezone properties on Macon Road between Georgia Avenue Extension and Panther Path Drive to OI, Office and Institutional District, and C-2, General Commercial District with conditions. Mr. Wood?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, following your discussion at your last meeting, the ordinance has been amended as you discussed. So all of the properties that are currently in the list of properties to be rezoned that are currently zoned C2, M1, or M2 will be zoned C2 with conditions, and those conditions are that no restaurant with drive-through windows are permitted, no restaurants with no seating are permitted, no automobile parts store are permitted, no bar or nightclubs are permitted, no convenience stores are permitted, no liquor stores are permitted, and all vehicle sales and service uses are prohibited. And I should also add that there are 4 parcels that are currently zoned R1, R2, or R3, and those would change to the office and institutional district.
Council members, there is no action required since this is an amended first reading of this ordinance. Item 11C2 is the first reading. This is the first reading of the PTV ordinance. Ms. Newton?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor and Council, following our discussion at the work session and the initial draft that was presented in the work session, for your consideration of a first reading tonight is an ordinance that would allow PTVs on public streets within the city, as long as they are operated on roads that are 25 miles per hour or less and that are not part of the state highway system. This ordinance establishes what the requirements are both for operating PTVs or personal transportation vehicles, as well as the equipment requirements. It establishes that a permit would be required. They would file for a registration permit with the police department. That permit would be good for 3 years. They're non-transferable. It also establishes it tracks state law with the requirements of the equipment that's required to be able to operate a PTV on our streets. The few additions that be the use of a seatbelt for a child 6 years of age or under, and then also the reflective slow-moving vehicle emblem on the back or the strobe light. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, council members? This is the first reading of this ordinance, and no action is required on the part of the council this evening. Thank you, Ms. Newby. Item 11D are resolutions for consideration and adoption. 11D1 is a resolution accepting the 2022 CDBG and requesting approval for mayor to execute associated documentation. Mrs. Wharton?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, in order to cash the big checks at the bank, we have to officially accept the award and pass a resolution. So that's my request here tonight for your consideration to accept that award and complete the signing of the document for the administration of the project and the award packet. So we're requesting this contingent on the attorney's office review.
Questions, council members, relative to the CDBG grant? Hearing none at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the acceptance of the 2022 CDBG grant. Motion is second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show that the request was approved unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Wharton.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. 11D2, the resolution to accept a donation of property from Northampton's LLC. Ms. Newby?
Thank you, Mayor. For your consideration is acceptance by donation of a stormwater fund that is currently owned by Northampton's LLC. It consists of 1.58 acres. It is parcel number P4180020000. This is already, like I said, an existing stormwater detention pond. It would be our recommendation to accept the donation of this pond so that we can maintain it in compliance with the city's MS4 permit.
Questions, council members, relative to this donation? Hearing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion to approve the acceptance of this property as outlined by Ms. Newby.
So moved, second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show that this resolution was approved unanimously. Thank you, council. Thank you, Ms. Newby. 11E is approval to accept the 2022 Atlanta Hawks Junior NBA grant.
I'll take that.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Mr. Swan apologizes. He had to take care of a family issue and he had to leave. He is presenting this council approval to accept a grant from the Atlanta Hawks in order to assist our youth basketball program. We recommend to you to approve.
Questions, council? Hearing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion to accept the Atlanta Hawks NBA grant. Motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show that this grant was approved, or acceptance of the grant was approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. President. Item 12 is other business. This is a supplemental agenda item. 12A is the RFP 2023-02 for the East Perry Wastewater Treatment Plant, CMAR. Mr. Worthington.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, as we discussed in the pre-council meeting, Mr. Burkhart with Georgia Water Environmental Services, our contracted engineer, is here to discuss this item further.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you very much for your time. Just wanted to bring you up to speed on our project and getting ready to move forward with pre-construction services for the East Perry Wastewater Treatment Plant Phase 1 project. The week of Labor Day in September, we advertised for CMAR services to qualified contractors throughout the Southeast that were capable of providing services for construction of the wastewater treatment facility. We had 5 interested parties. 4 of those bid on the work, providing their qualifications for a selection committee that was defined with the city ESG as well as GWS staff. The selection committee had criteria to find the best suited contractor for the CMR services. Any of the 4 could have done this project, and so it was a tough task for the selection committee to be able to find what contractor was best suited. And they did a very well job in promoting themselves. We feel, as a selection committee, very pleased with the level of effort that the contractors put in and their interest. And again, they were from all over the Southeast. And so, after going through interviews with 3 of the top qualifiers, we are recommending that the city move forward with negotiations with Haskell. They are based out of Jacksonville, Florida. They have local experience in Warner Robins as well as in Bibb County, both the Lower Poplar and Rocky Creek wastewater treatment plants recently. So we feel that they are highly qualified to do this job and do it well, and therefore are recommending that we move forward with negotiations of the contract with Haskell for pre-construction services as part of the CMAR.
Questions? Hearing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion to approve the RFP 2023-2 as outlined by Mr. Worthington and Mr. Burkhart. Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Please let the record show the RFP was approved unanimously. So you guys can move forward with that negotiation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all the hard work on it.
Thank you. And also just to let everyone know, we are on schedule.
December 24, right?
Yes, sir.
25. 25.
Mr. Burke. Item 13, our council member items. Ms. Fine Press?
One thing I just wanted to bring to this body is that I have an approach that maybe we can look into it about transportation for our citizens in our community. And it's something that I just wanted to go on record that I brought it forth, and maybe we can look at it still more of a Smith either one. We find out some information that we need to see how they're going to go, you know. And that's one of the things that how other cities are able to fund it, what they're doing, and maybe we can get some information, bring it back, that we can look at. Thank you.
Mr. Woods, I understand the RATS organization is currently looking at potential transportation models.
That's correct. And part of that is public transportation.
Okay.
So, yes, I'll keep you informed.
My understanding it was understood, so okay. We'll get that information. Mr. Hunt? Mr. Peters? Mr. Jones, anything? Mr. Gilmore, anything else for us?
No, sir.
Mr. Smith?
Yes, Mayor. One item. Unlike Mr. Murr's project, the new City Hall project is a little behind. They did break ground last week. The demo is actually nearly completed, and we're looking at a July 23 completion of the project. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Newby. Item 14 is department head items. Mr. Worthing, anything?
Nothing further, sir.
Mr. Wood? No, sir. Chief, anything for us this evening?
No, sir.
Thanks again for the hard work that you guys put in for saving that person's life.
I'm very proud of them, and that's sadly it's getting to be a call we're getting to answer more and more.
Thank you very much for what they do. Chief Parker?
Yes, Mayor, Mayor and Council, I have two items for you. The first is I want to let you know that the fire department has been given a grant from Colonial Pipeline. Unfortunately, it's not for $1 million, but it is for $9,000 that we will use to purchase some much-needed gas monitors that we can go out and monitor gas and carbon monoxide and things like that. So we have that. We're getting ready to purchase those. The second thing is I'm proud to announce that the Perry Fire Department is was the winner of the 2022 Downtown Perry Scarecrow Fest, and I have the coveted trophy. For all of you I know that went out and voted on Facebook, I really appreciate that. We're thankful for being able to participate and receiving this honor.
Well, congratulations. That was quite an event with all the scarecrows that were downtown. Ms. Fitzner? Nothing. Ms. Warren, do you have anything for us this evening?
No, sir.
Okay. Ms. Garrett?
No, sir.
Ms. Clark? Anything?
No, sir.
Ms. Horton? Anything?
No, sir.
Mr. McMurray, anything for us?
No, sir.
Anything from HR, since we have the HR contingency here?
No, sir.
Thank you. Item 15 are general public items. Is there anyone here in the general public who would like to address mayor and council at this time? Yes, ma'am, if you could come forward or just stand. Give us your name and address. Just be careful with that cord.
I know, I know something. First, I apologize that I was late. I hope you'll come.
Can we get your name and address, please?
I apologize. Elizabeth Sass, 419 Newport Avenue. And I apologize that I was late. I hope you'll accommodate me. I think you probably already talked about what I wanted to just mention. And it was the recently annexed property in conjunction with the Center Point Church at 2440 Highway 127.
Yes.
That
there could be, that has nothing to do with the expansion of the church, but for the traffic consideration of the site plans that went out on Friday, or we found, appears to follow the same pattern that they did for the Pumpkin Palooza, that the parking lots, the new one, and I guess the old one, will exit onto Wingfield Way. Has this already been covered?
We have not,
Okay.
because it was postponed until our December the 6th meeting.
Could I just at least make a mention of it then? Thank you for that. If I could make a mention of it.
Okay.
The concern that was discussed is the street, and I don't know that it was mentioned properly before to express the importance of Wingfield Way. There, in the new section, Hawks Landing, Summer Branch, and then the main section, not all the way to the back, but that's about 300 houses that encompass the entire sort of multiple subdivisions. You're talking in the neighborhood of 500-ish. I didn't actually count them all, but it's roughly 500. And there's no egress to the right, no egress to the east, because the electric company or the power company, there's those large transmission lines. So there's not a way to put a street there. There's really no direct egress to the left or to the west, directly to Houston Lake. And to the north, Wingfield Way is the egress for all of those homes. And from Houston Lake to Wingfield Way, which of course is Moody, and then a little further on, that for those homes, that's the egress to the north. There's access out to the south. I think it's Bear Branch that can get you, if you go all the way to the south and the bottom, it'll go left and right. And there's no problem with the current situation with the homes. Everybody can get in and out properly. There was a point in like 2018, 2019, I'm not sure how long before that, where there was a little traffic problem with the school where it was a lot of congestion. They tweaked it, they addressed it, and it was fixed, it was perfect. Then there was, I guess as the school grew, there was some more problem with the traffic being funneled on the Wingfield Way. So they made, when I was the Board of Education of the school, we were in conjunction. They made some tweaks again and improvements, and it was perfect, I guess, for the school, perfect for the neighborhood, and everything worked out great. I don't know if it had to come to the public, but the situation was addressed. So the concern is, for example, on Pumpkin Palooza, there was a lot of attendance, clearly, huge attendance. And the parking lot, where they were parking in the new section, it was exit only into Wingfield Way. So all of those cars that were parked there exited out onto Wingfield. And that in conjunction with, what was going on the highway, it was a little difficult. And those things happen when there's an event, there's high attendance. But the problem would be if, I think it's a total of 300 or so parking spots, those several hundred cars, if it's used multiple times for an event, or just the normal course of those people being there and then funneled through that one lane in each direction street with a stoplight as the only egress in and out of that neighborhood, just would be a traffic concern. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for your
And I'll see you December what?
I think it's December the 6th, is it not?
I think it wouldn't be that difficult because all of those churches and businesses and I'll list and I'll say, and I appreciate your time, from Wingfield Way all the way to Houston Lake, all of those businesses, churches, and everybody, and including the school, actually, on the other side, they have all of their parking, enter and exit directly, obviously, clearly, but directly enter on and off the highway. And it's probably better for the people that park there, because if they go, they're either going to go right and get lost in the subdivision and create extra traffic in the subdivision, or they're going to go have to sit through the light again, as opposed to just exiting onto Highway 127. That was it.
Mr. Wood?
Oh.
Yes, so this will be scheduled for a public hearing on December the 6th. The signs have been reposted and properly posted.
Thank you.
And public notice will, the people will go out.
I apologize, I wasn't here sooner. I would think if it could be considered when they put whatever their planning is, if maybe they hadn't thought about that situation. And to save them time so they can move forward faster. Thank you very much, all, and I apologize. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address mayor and council at this time? mayor items, I would like to point out that our next meeting will be on Monday, November the 14th, here at the event center at 5 p.m. for our work session. And then on Tuesday, the 15th, we will have pre-council at 5 o'clock, and our regular council meeting will be held at 6 o'clock, or close to 6 o'clock as we get it. So if there's nothing else to come before us this evening, I will entertain a motion to go into executive session